Welcome to Chat It Up, a new show that showcases celebrities, internet influencers, and many others that impacted our lives. Now let's get started with our host and Chat It Up. Here is Kathleen Michaels.
Hi, welcome to Chat It Up. I'm your host, Kathleen Michaels, and this is the first episode, hopefully of many, that we can chat it up with people in the entertainment industry, internet influencers, and others that impacted our lives in one form or another. To get to know them better, we'll chat it up about their careers, their lives before they got started, their plans for the future, and the spotlight question where we put them on the spot. So let us get into it and chat it up. Our first forever guest graced us on TV, film, and stage with 20 years of experience. 2001, her first film role, and in 2008, she was in her first Broadway show. She has performed at the White House for, at the time, President George W. Bush. A few of her film and TV credits are Terminator, Dark Fate, Blackish, Good Girls, Bosch, Mom, and SWAT. She is also a career coach for actors and the author of Playing Small, The Actor's Guide to Becoming a Booking Magnet. Now, here is our guest on Chat It Up, the lovely Christine Horn.
Hey!
Hey!
I love that intro. Yes. I'm gonna carry you around everywhere with me, Kathleen. The intros.
Oh, I'm happy to do it. Thank you so much for being on the show today.
Oh, I'm so happy to be here. I'm so grateful that EJ asked me to come on, and I'm excited. Let's do it.
All right. Let's get into it and chat it up.
Yes.
Let's start with the young Christine Horn. Before becoming an actress and author, tell us where you're from and how was your childhood?
Oh, wow. I'm from the Boogie Down Bronx, New York.
Wow.
Born and raised, yes. My childhood was a lot of fun. I was an only child until I was 14. And then my mother decided to have a little boy at the time. I was like, 14, I'm 14 now.
Oh, wow.
So I was always interested in the arts. You know, when you're in kindergarten, they say, what do you want to do when you grow up? I always said, I want to be a singer, actor, dancer. I just always.
Oh, so this was it for you. That was it.
I always knew. I love talking to myself. I love playing games. My favorite game was Store and Late Night Talk Show. I just always love that, you know, so my mother was not someone who put me in anything. She tells me to this day, you were always full of energy and you would ask me to do stuff. So I was like, I took ballet and tap and jazz when I was a kid.
Wonderful.
And then went, and my mother always took me to see theater productions. The company
Oh, yeah.
she worked for a real estate firm, and they would have like, they were so busy and rich, they didn't have time for these Broadway tickets that they had. Jonathan Valerie, that's my mom's name. And so we would go see Broadway shows and off-Broadway shows, and I just
Oh,
loved it.
wow.
So that was my childhood. I mean, I grew up very independent because of living in New York. My mom, single mom, my mom divorced my dad when I was 1. So she worked a lot. I was latchkey kid, you know, I'm home and it's me with the TV and dance
I
class or
understand.
whatever. So I was very independent, which I'm grateful for.
Were you a good student? Were you a good student?
I was that kid who loved homework. I would ask for homework on Friday afternoon, like,
Oh, wow.
a lot of threats of harm to me from other students. But you know, my favorite classes were really always the kind of the creative classes, English, writing. I hated maths and science, but I loved school. And I to this day, I'm still a lover of learning. I'm a personal development junkie, you know,
Oh, wow.
so I just really enjoyed class and being around other students. But that was my childhood. I moved to Atlanta. My mom didn't want to raise any more kids in New York when she got pregnant with my sister. So my brother was born, he was 2, and then my sister was on the way, and she said, no more. And she said, Christine, you're turning into a teenager, and I don't like your friends. And my mother wanted more. And so she saved up and bought a house in Georgia, and
Wow.
we moved in within 2 weeks notice. But she made a point to move in the district of one of the top performing arts high schools in Atlanta, which is Tri-Cities High School, where Kenan Thompson went and Candy Burris,
Beautiful.
Outcast. And that's being there, that school changed my life, because that's where I met my mentor.
Do you have favorites? Do you have favorite teachers there at that school?
Absolutely. I mean, my mentor and friend and fake daddy uncle to this day, his name is he's all the titles, but his name is Freddie Hendricks. And he came in there in my 10th grade year to take over the magnet department, drama department. And he also had a separate youth theater company called the Freddie Hendricks Youth Ensemble of Atlanta at the time. And it was just
Nice.
a bunch of kids who were ridiculously talented. And
It's really wonderful to grow up around that, isn't it?
yeah, and so it just changed my life. That's the best way I can say it. Yeah.
Do you have any teachers that stand out in your mind? Like, are there any crazy things that your teachers have done that stand out in your mind or they
The
asked you to do?
Well, 2 things. I remember 2 things. This goes back to elementary school. I remember 2nd grade. This is the when Christine learned she needed glasses story. So 2nd grade, apparently I was sitting in the back of the classroom, and they called my mom to class because I was throwing airplanes in class. And I was
Uh-oh.
scared to say I couldn't see because the teacher, her name was Miss Orange. I'll never forget.
Orange.
And on the first day of school, she said, if you talk in my class, I'm going to hang you by your toenails from the ceiling. Oh yes. I'm grown, and I've never forgotten.
Wow.
And I told my mom that. So what ended up happening was I was not participating in the work because I was scared to ask a question, and I was scared to say I couldn't
Right.
see. So my mother, Valerie, the way she is, she marched on down to that school and got me moved out of her class, but then got me to take an eye exam, and I couldn't see nothing. So I was, I was too scared. And that sticks with me to this day, how you can impact someone's life with the smallest things.
So much. So
Like,
much.
you know, why are you teaching children if you want to threaten them by hanging them from the ceiling? Like,
That is, wow, so irresponsible and really abusive in some ways when you
yes.
think about it. Oh my, such an interesting childhood.
So that's memorable on the other side of things.
Yeah. No, that's good though. I mean, that stands out. It stands out.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your entertainment career. Let's chat it up about that a little bit. How did you get your start and what inspired you?
Well, I mean, I'll go back to the youth ensemble. That's where I started performing professionally around age 16. We would tour, you know, all throughout the US and travel and perform. And, you know, with that theater company, it really honed my skills because we were all talented.
That,
And we never had scripts. There was never a piece of paper that ever existed. All the shows were created within our minds. If you missed a rehearsal, then someone would take your spot. So it really trained us to be like, you don't want it, someone come take it. Someone else is waiting. And so from there, I just stayed acting. I went to performing arts college called AMDA, American Musical Dramatic Academy in New York. So I went back to New York for a year.
Wow.
It was a 2-year conservatory, but I only stayed a year just because I didn't feel like I was getting everything that I needed from that school. Right. And I was this is totally honest, I don't have a college degree. I tried liberal arts college for 3 months. It didn't work. Then I went to AMDA and I was like, I just want to act. And the best acting,
that's probably why you worked so well in an improv situation, you know, it wasn't allowed your creativity to come out.
Yeah. And I just wasn't interested in taking science. Like, I was like, why? Right. I need to be on stage. And so I did try twice, but I left AMDA after the first year of the conservatory and moved back to Georgia to get my union card in theater. And I started working at the Alliance Theater, which is the biggest theater there. And then fast forward, just a bunch of, gypsy actor life, hopping back and forth, moving where you need to go for a possible opportunity. But I would say the big break in my life happened in 2006 when I booked The Lion King, the national tour. Yeah. And
wow.
And I ended up doing 5 companies of that. I toured with it for about 5 years, did it on Broadway, Las Vegas. I got to go to Germany, both tours, got to spend months in Honolulu working. I mean, woe was me, right?
That's a dream.
It was wonderful.
A dream. Do you have a favorite role? What was your favorite role?
I loved playing Nala, Simba's girlfriend, Nala. I loved playing that, and his mom. It was just the show is still on tour. You can still see it. I mean, well, when we're able to see live theater again. But it was the perfect experience for that time in my life too. And the age I was, because we would move every 4 to 6 weeks, so getting to travel the world and doing what I love and getting paid for it was a dream, So after Lion King, I got burnt out. I was like, okay, I'm tired of jumping. I'm tired of being a lion, right? I want to do film and TV. And my first blockbuster movie, it was one scene in a popular movie called Stomp the Yard. And I was in a scene Columbus Short, and I just got the bug, and I really just wanted to do more and more. So the rest it's not like the story's easy, but the rest is history. That I just stayed on that trajectory while working 9 to 5s and 5 to 10s. I always looked at my day job as a loan I never had to pay back. Like, oh, this job's going to pay me to get headshots and take classes.
Right on.
So
supply you with what you need to make your actual career happen. Yep.
Yeah, understand. Absolutely.
What projects are you working on right now?
Right now, it's been a little interesting because of the pandemic. We're at the time of this recording, but I'll be on this next season of Shameless. I am recurring on a show called Snowfall and on FX for the new season 4, which I'm really excited about.
So we're going to see this soon, upcoming, yeah?
Yes.
Nice.
And there's a new show on Netflix called On the Verge. I'll be on that coming up. I'm currently in a national AT&T commercial with it's a nice holiday commercial. Put a little love with LeBron James, and I was like, oh, me and LeBron.
Nice.
So that's what's happening right now on the artist side of me, and as the coach side, I'm really committed to helping to change the lives of actors around the world with my program. I have a program called Book More TV, because I feel like once things clicked, coming from theater to TV is very challenging because of.
I bet from live stage to the whole TV scene has to feel restricting for you in some front.
Yeah, and for years you don't know. People just say you're too big, and they're not telling you exactly what to fix. So once I figure that out, and clearly I'm doing something right, I booked 30-something jobs in the past few years. So I started teaching that too. So I have a course called Book More TV, and that's what I teach. I'm very fulfilled on the artistic side and on the coaching.
Nice. Do you have any celebrities that are ones that most influential in your career, ones that have really affected you?
There's so many. Delroy Lindo, Viola Davis, Alfre Woodard, Denzel Washington, Tom Hanks, Dustin
Oh,
Hoffman, Meryl Streep. I mean, I just
how do
study.
you choose, right? How do you choose?
Yeah, it's just like having master classes all the time. And as Meryl Streep would say, stealing a little bit from each of them and making it your own, trying it on for size and try. That's what I do. I like, oh, I love how Meryl Streep did that thing with her head. Or I'm gonna try that on my next audition. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah,
But I think as artists, I appreciate good art. I appreciate good acting. I appreciate a
it's
good.
wonderful when you can delve into your craft.
Yeah, and really be passionate and about it and love it. My mentor, Freddie, he instilled just a high bar, a standard of excellence that you should aim to achieve in private at all times.
That's right.
And that's just how I approach my life, period.
Can we talk about your book? You're the author
Yes,
of Playing Small,
yes.
The Actor's Guide to Becoming a Booking Magnet. I was so intrigued by the title.
Yeah, well,
You have a 4-step methodology, it says.
I believe I'm really big in law of attraction. I really believe I'm really big on
Me
that
too.
we attract things to our life. And I believe you got to speak life to yourself at all times. So even before I had bookings, I was like, I'm a magnet, right? I attract things to my life. So I'm a booking magnet. That's what I am, a booking. And I just started saying, I'm a booking magnet. I'm a booking magnet. I tell my clients, you're a booking magnet. You got to believe it to attract it. And so, yeah, I took all the stuff that I've learned and put it in this book, and it's a quick read, but the book is not what a lot of people think it is. Like, it's not like step 1, here's how you make your headshot. It's not the how-to. There are plenty of how-to books and programs, but what I know from tapping into my own self and talking to thousands of actors is that I can give you all the how-tos, but if you can't get past all the gook up here in your mind, you're not going to do any of it. And so I understood that there's at least 7 fears that people are dealing with on a daily basis. And so I just take in the book, I talk through them. And these are the things you're not going to admit to your friend. This is the stuff that you go through in quiet when you're at home alone, not doing the thing you should do or want to do because fear of judgment, fear of comparison, fear of there not being enough, fear of, being success, fear of failure, all this stuff that you won't admit to a friend over coffee. But if you don't get past that, you're not going to get to your next level.
It sounds like you could absolutely apply these principles to your personal life outside of acting everywhere, right?
Absolutely. I mean, listen, I tell you, I love personal development. So when I just always am surrounded, Tony Robbins, Jim Rohn, Zig Bob Proctor, Louise Hay, always keeping something in my mind, Les Brown. And that's the stuff, because we're human at the end of the day.
Right.
And no matter what line of work you're in, we all deal with these things.
What does MAMA stand for?
Well, that's methodology. I believe, again, that in order to be a well-rounded actor or artist, you got to get to know your mama. And that's mindset, acting, marketing, and auditioning. In this industry, especially, people forget that it's show business. It's Hollywood. So people, my talent should speak for itself. Well, it doesn't. That's not how, you can be talented, but that studio still needs you to market that movie. That studio still needs you to do press tours and all that stuff. So,
that is truly the ABCs of it, isn't it? Really, that's that side of the business.
It's all the pieces. And sometimes as actors, we want to only do one. So I have all this talent, but you're sitting and waiting to get discovered? Ain't nobody discovering people no more like that. Like, even people who get found on Instagram is because they showed up.
Right. That's right. You got to show up. And I cannot wait to read your book now, because I thought it was really something just for actors, but it sounds like such a great read for everybody.
What I've heard from friends who are not actors, and my husband included, and other musicians, is like, you can just take actor out and insert your profession. And it'll apply. And it's meant to be a quick read. It's not a thick book. Because you can be like, I don't have time to read it. Yes, you do. We can read it in 2 hours. If you don't want to read it, it's on Audible. But it's meant also to be that thing you just kind of keep in your purse. It's
on Audible too?
Oh, yes. I had to read it.
Wow, yeah. That's great. That's great.
for the people like me, especially if you're sitting in traffic a lot or just busy and need to multitask, it's a quick 2-hour listen on Audible.
Nice.
Yeah.
Can't wait to read it now.
Yeah.
Okay, we got to go on. Let's chat it up and get to the serious questions. Like those weren't serious enough. What celebrity would you rate as a perfect 10?
As a perfect 10.
These are good questions, huh?
Well, yeah, and they are. I'll give an answer, but I don't think anyone's a perfect 10 because I also think any artist for sure is always, most artists don't believe they've done their best work yet. So I'm gonna give them a 10, but I know they wouldn't even give themselves that. I gotta choose between the two. I'm gonna go with Cicely Tyson.
Incredible.
Just because of her body of work and being able to do quality and the kinds of work she has coming up in a time
When
it was not everybody.
divide.
Right. She didn't have an Instagram she could throw up real quick and become an actor.
Right.
Really pushing through so many barriers and doing it with grace and style and class and beauty. And
That's such a great answer.
yeah.
I love your answer. She's amazing. You're right. Her body of work is not to be believed. Okay. What would be a good theme song for your life?
A good theme song for my life. I'm just gonna pick anything right now, and what's coming, I'm gonna go with the first answer that's coming from me, which is Destiny's Child, I'm a Survivor. I'm a survivor, I'm no survivor. Just because I feel like I've fought through so much. I'm just extremely tenacious, and there have been so many opportunities for me to give up, and I haven't.
I'm sure. Okay, Christine, what ridiculous thing has someone tricked you into doing or believing?
You know, when you asked this question, I thought it was going to be something from my adult life, but it really went back to my youth in New York. I want to say 11 or 12, day after Christmas. And my mom, I had just gotten a new gold chain with the cross, and I had new earrings. And my mother always said, never take these earrings out, because I would lose earrings.
Right.
So she said, hey, go to the store and pick up some, whatever it was. Let's say it was milk. Because in New York, you go to the store by yourself.
Right.
The most ridiculous thing was I got conned. There's a con called a pigeon drop. 2 adults conned me out of not only the money that my mother gave me for the grocery store, but they took my gold chain. So it was this whole thing. They came up to me asking for directions, and I was like, I don't know where that is. And then they were very convincing, of course, and somehow they convinced me to hold this thing of money for them while we went to the grocery store. And I'm, they took it.
Oh no.
And I remember just wailing into the grocery store when I realized it was a thing of newspaper and they had done this drop and swap of my money with theirs, and there was no money,
Right.
So that's something that's very defining.
Terrible to take advantage of a child like that. Terrible.
Yeah. So that's, to me, a pretty ridiculous thing that I believed, but I never forgot it.
Well, that's good. It probably taught you the lesson of your lifetime there, huh?
Oh, absolutely.
What a way to learn.
Yeah.
Where do you think you're going to be in 25 years?
In 25 years, I think I will be at peace with myself, with my life, with my family,
Nice.
with my choices, with my legacy.
That is a beautiful thing to want, whatever that is. That's beautiful. We've come to the end of the questions. Thank you so much to Christine Horn for being our ever guest on the show, and hope that you'll come back in the future.
Yes, thank you.
Once again, thank you.
Thank you. And if, connect with me online if anything I said inspires you. We have a great community online called Hollywood Bound Actors. We have a podcast for
Nice.
aspiring actors, an amazing community. I just want to say that community is everything. So even this interview series, I'm sure will uplift and inspire somebody, and all the guests we
I
have in
sure.
the future. So thank you.
Thank you, Christine. Thank you so much again. Next time on Chat It Up, we will chat it up with actor and comedian Teddy Lane Jr. With a career that spans over 25 years. You've probably seen him in movies such as Bringing Down the House with Queen Latifah and Steve Martin, and appeared on shows such as NCIS and Shooter. You also, at times, can check him out at the Ice House and Flappers, where he does his stand up comedy. Thank you for watching, and we will chat it up next time with Teddy Lane Jr. Please check us out on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Vimeo to get the latest on upcoming shows. I'm Kathleen Michaels, and we'll chat it up next time. Bye bye for now.